G'day all, welcome back again to Dad vs Son and our playthrough of Panzer Grenadier and my chronological Pacific War campaign. And we've started off with the first scenario in the Alaska War campaign, which is Alaska's Warriors, beginning on 9th of June 1942. And we're about to go on with the 1100 turn, with the last turn at 1345. Both sides have lost 4 steps, and their initiative has dropped by 1 each. The Japanese used their cruiser guns and dropped some artillery straight in here on to the captain with his dug-in company, but did no damage, which was wonderful for the Americans. This demoralized guy keeps wandering away at the moment, whilst this Japanese lieutenant with his sort of half company now starts to come around the American right flank up towards the village. This lieutenant with a heavy machine gun can lay fire in here. The commander, again, down to sort of a half company. It's just slowly moving up. He's giving some support into the assault hex here, and can also bring some fire onto here if need be. The assault hex, stupid. At the moment, the Americans are doing quite well. The lieutenant in there's got a disrupted infantry platoon, but the other one's still good, and so is he. Whereas the Japanese have got everybody demoralized or disrupted, so it's a very good outcome so far for the Americans. So let's get in and start up. So first up is the initiative roll. Americans on 1, Japanese on 4. So 1 plus 4 is 5. 4 plus 3 is 7. Difference of 2 halved is 1 activation for the Japanese. Now, a couple of things they can do here. They can try and recover these guys before they take any more hits and maybe get reduced, broken down, thumped, and all the rest of it. Or they can start to move around and try and get out of the way of this guy, or bring some fire on here, move forward, all those sorts of different things. And I think what we're going to do is we are going to activate the commander's hex to fire. And we're going to get him to activate these little guys here, who are going to try and recover. So we'll do the recovery first. So the lieutenant here. Okay, the lieutenant is a 9, an 8. So he'll need a 7 or less, and gets it. So he's going to be, idiot. He is now going to be disrupted. The ensign is a 9, so he'll need an 8 or less. Oh, just does it. But that's good. So let's get rid of him. He's done. He's now done. But we can now use his 1 morale boost to help with this, which is good. So this disrupted heavy machine gun is a 9. Excuse me, a 10. So 9 or less. and gets it, and he's back to spec. This infantry platoon here, again, 9, 10, so 9 or less. Oh, and he fails. So he's now demoralized. And this demoralized unit is a 9, an 8, a 9, so 8 or less. And he's back to disrupted. So that was a little bit of good and a little bit of bad. So that's them done. And now it's the Americans' turn. No, it's not. Sorry, haven't finished with the Japanese. We're firing here. So we have 4, 5, 6 with the reduced. So we're going to be on the 4. So let's come over here. So we're on the 4 column. But target is dug in, so we go down 1. I thought there was something. Sorry. There's a +1 because they're in the swampy shit as well, the muskeg. So let's just do this right. Target is dug in, so they're down 1, so they're down to the 2 column. Target is 3 or more hexes away, so they're down to the 1 column. Target contains 3 combat units, so they're up 1. Target occupies swamp, they're up 2. So they're down 2, up 2, so they're on the 4 column, and that is it. And they get a 9 on the 4 column, which is a no-go. Okay, so now we're to the Americans, and I think what we're going to do is we're going to have a go here. We're going to activate these guys to fire into here. So again, we have, and this is on the assault table, we have 6, 12, 13, so we're on the 13 column. Excuse me. We don't have higher morale or anything else. We do have an undemoralized friendly leader, so we're up 1 to the 18 column, and that's it. So on the 18 column, we get a 10, which is a 1 loss. So US, I'll just put an X, so they're having a loss of 1. Excuse me. And these guys are defending. So they have 6, 7, 8, 9. So they're on the 9 column. They have an undemoralized leader. All units. Yep, all the Japanese units have a higher morale than the American units, because this bloke was a 9, he's now an 8, but these guys are only 7s. So 6, 7, 8, 9. 1 for the leader, 1 for the morale, and 1 for the being Japanese, 24. And they get a 10, which is a 1 loss as well. Okay. So the Americans will take the loss here and flip. That gives them another step loss. Excuse me. And the Japanese take a step loss as well. And this is their highest. So that's that. So they take a step loss, and then everybody does an M2. Okay, so the lieutenant is a 9, so that's a 7 or less, passes. The reduced unit is a 6, so that's a 4 or less. That's not going to be good. And is demoralized. And the disrupted unit is a 7, so a 5 or less, and is demoralized as well. Okay. Now, the Japanese, for an M2, the lieutenant is a 9, so 7 or less, passes. The ensign is a 7 or less, passes. And he's got his +1 to help. Reduced heavy machine gun is an 8. +1 is 9, so 7 or less, passes. This is full strength, so that's 9, 10, down to 9. So 7 or less for this unit, passes. And a 8 or less for this unit, fails and is demoralized. So a little bit of give and take in there, and we are done. Right-o. So now it is up to the Japanese again for their second. What do they want to do? Do they want to do? They're going to activate this lieutenant with his machine gun to fire into here. So he's firing for 6, so he's on the 4 column. Bum, bum, bum. Target is dug in, so we're down 1 to the 2 column. Target is 3 hexes away, so we're down 2 to the 1 column. Target contains 3 combat units. We're back to the 2 column. And target is in a swamp, the muskeg, which brings us back to the 4 column again, and that is it. And we get an 11 on the 4 column, which is an M1. Okay. So we'll do the captain first, of course, an M1. He's a 9, so that's an 8 or less. He passes. We'll do the infantry beside him. That's a 7, plus the captain is an 8, so it's again 7 or less. He's good. The next infantry, a 7 or less, fails. It's this guy. And he becomes demoralized. And then the heavy machine gun, again, a 7 or less, and also becomes demoralized. Like that. And these guys are done. Righto. So back to the Americans. Well, I think the best thing to do is we'll activate the captain. I'm going to get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. We'll activate the captain and all his mob to recover along with this little fella here. So the captain's got a +1 to help. So we'll do the demoralized infantry to start with. So he is an 8, sorry, a 7, an 8 with the captain, a 7 again, so 6 or less, and gets it. And the machine gun the same, and he does it as well, which is good. And this little fella here is a 6, a 5, so a 4 or less, and he is gone. He failed by 3. So get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that, flip him back over, put him in the graveyard. That's the 6th step loss for the Americans and 5 step losses for the Japanese. And we're back over to the Japanese for their 3rd activation, and they have these guys here. So they are going to do what? They are going to move. So machine gun moves to here. Excuse me. And does a Maya roll, 3 or less. Ooh, just makes it. The infantry platoon moves forward. Oh, we got a 3. Okay. Roll 2 dice each time a unit or leader enters a muskeg. On a result of 3 or less, the unit or leader becomes disrupted due to soldiers sinking into the muck. Okay. So this guy becomes disrupted. A disruptor unit or leader that is again disrupted either due to miring or enemy fire becomes demoralized. Do not make miring rolls for demoralized units or leaders. Okay. And then this guy comes forward and we roll for him and he's fine. So that's the 3rd activation for them, which only leaves the 3rd activation for the Americans. So we're actually going to move the scouts. They're going to move, get rid of this. They're going to move down the track for 1. And then they're going to move into the village for 2, 3. We don't have to worry about a Maya roll. Oh, Alaska Scout units and leaders add 1 to the result for all miring. Okay, so the scouts, fine, and the lieutenant, fine. So they're back in the village to try and hold that. And that is it. There is nobody else to do anything. So we have finished that turn. I don't think it would make much sense to go on with another turn. We're already at sort of 19 minutes. So some good stuff happening there for the Japanese. They're starting to move around a bit. The assault hex up here is getting a little bit antsy, but we'll see what happens. So we're now ready next time to go on with the 11:15 turn. So take care, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.